So another hot topic that I wanted to talk about, and that we're going to continue talking about on to the next one, because I know that I don't have that much long to talk about this, is the new statue. The new statue by in Washington or something like that. So a lot of people are making fun. Many people are making fun of this new statue that is in Boston, I believe. That's where it is. And people don't understand the meaning of the statue. People don't understand it's a statue. Bishop Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King had just won the Nobel Peace Prize, and he goes to embrace Coretta Scott King, and they actually made just the arms, the embrace. And people just need to understand. I took an entire message. That's because I'm Aquarius. Maybe I think too deep into things, but it definitely was given that we've been in COVID. We've not been able to touch each other and stuff like that. So it was like a double entendre. Embrace somebody, hug somebody, love somebody, like Dr. King did. They probably didn't have a picture of him hugging a white man or anything. So they just got him hugging his wife to commemorate, if that's the word, both of them. But you know, of course, people have turned it like social media does, made a joke out of it. It looks like a dildo. It looks like an eggplant. It looks like this. It looks like that.
All right, y'all. The artist behind the much talked about Dr. King and Coretta Scott King sculpture, Hank Willis Thomas, has spoken out, and he said he has no plans to change the piece of art. Thomas appeared on CNN, and when he was asked by Don Lemon if he had any plans on modifying or changing the work of art if it was requested, he said, "I mean, by who? Because this was a piece that was selected by the people of Boston. This is not a Hank that just came out and put something out there."
For $10 million, we need to know upon first glance that that's Martin and Coretta. All in all, despite the fact that I'm not trying to be artsy, and I know I'm not artsy, that statue looked like a heap of junk.
I didn't like either.
And we're going to, over time, really understand how incredible this piece of art will symbolize the King legacy down the road.
Al, screw offending him and his damn legacy. That is offensive to Dr. King's legacy. That statue is
that's your opinion.
And
that's your
you can't tell me that statue was commissioned by the NAACP chapter of Boston or the Martin Luther King board of Boston.
Absolutely, Q. We know that the oldest. We know that Martin Luther King. No,
they must ain't got no real black people in Boston.
Don't do that, Q. Don't do that, Q. We can't make it up now. We know that Martin Luther King Jr. himself, the son of Martin Luther King, approved it. We know that he has nothing but positive things.
He got dementia. He got dementia.
Boy, cut it out.
Okay, but from what I'm hearing, people don't like it that are there. The average person does not like it there. And we can have an opinion on art because that's why it's art, right? Like Al can love it, Q can hate it, I can feel like, We are supposed to give our opinions on this, right? I think it's horrible. But it looked like crap. It looked like a penis. It looked like Dookie. And I want to see it and be like, we got all these Confederate statues that we fight for them to take down. We know exactly who those people are.
Yes.
Without an explanation, I would never know who that was.
Right.
Topic. You guys are being disrespectful to the artist, and
Well, we're not trying to be disrespectful, sir. But I have the right to not like your art. It's ugly to me. It's ugly. It looks like a heap of junk. You think it looks great. I think it's a heap of junk. Which one of us is right? Neither of us is right. Neither of us is wrong. It just is what it is.
Hands in the picture, and then look at that. The art piece features a couple's arms during the embrace and not their heads, which has sparked a mixed reaction.
Has anyone in here ever been out? I'm serious. Has anyone in here ever participated in the munch? Because they celebrating you right now. They are celebrating you in Boston right now. Lord. Listen, I know Dr. King went down in history, but this is not how you should. Okay, black people, what the we gonna do? We gotta talk about this. Because you know it's messed up when black people and the Proud Boys hate the same statue. But I don't know. You know, I mean, I guess, maybe we'll end up liking it. You know what I'm saying? We might end up liking it. Maybe it's just a matter of time. In time, we will see this statue for what it truly is. Martin Luther King going down on his wife. I can't unsee it. It is what it is.
From the angle that I saw, it looks like hands cradling a big penis. left out in the sun. Right? Because no matter which way you look at it, it's a different erotic act, right? It's like a sexual Rubik's Cube.
Absolutely.
Like every time you spin it, like you just gotta take the stickers off and move them around. Because you've never solved one.
And so I don't know how much of it is funny and how much of it is disrespectful, or if it's funny at all to the King family, that people are making memes and making fun of it, even public figures. So the guy who made the sculpture was asked to make the sculpture, and I believe he did an interview about making this sculpture with Gayle King, NBC, CBS, ABC, somebody, I don't know, but it was a reputable news station that did a story about him, and they even had cameras on him while sculpting this, while drawing this out, while doing the hand art. Someone recorded him. So people don't understand that as many people is doing this, you're making this man feel really freaking bad, because he's like, dang, you know what I'm saying? Y'all would literally do this, and I took my precious, long, hard time to do this, and it probably was some bumps in the road while making it, and for it to come out the way it did, it's probably perfect to him, because you don't know what the rough draft and the draft before that looked like, and the draft before that looked like. You don't know what the drafts look like.
To be unveiled later this week in Boston, a striking new tribute to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., his wife, Coretta Scott King, and the late civil rights leader's enduring dream. Here's Nancy Giles.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his wife, Coretta Scott King.
There was an intimacy that I saw that wasn't really highlighted often. You know, often when you do look closely at pictures, they're holding each other's hands.
One photo in particular got the sculptor's attention. The reaction when Reverend King was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964.
So it's not fair to laugh and not really know the story or the history behind the sculpt or the person that's making the sculpt. And so I speak of, I don't know how much of the family is not in liking of it, but Coretta Scott King's cousin, Seneca Scott, he has voiced his opinion about it, and he does not like it. He's saying that he does not like it. It was thousands or millions of dollars spent on this sculpture that didn't have to be spent, when that money could have went towards something else. Bernice King has not come out about it, but I believe Martin Luther King III has, and he liked it a lot.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's called Embrace, and I think the artist did a great job. I'm satisfied. Yeah, it didn't have my mom and dad's images, but it represents something that brings people together. And in this time of day and age, when there's so much division, we need symbols that talk about bringing us together. Number one, it talks about the love story. It also represents mom and dad. Many monuments are done just around dad, but it represents the kind of relationship they had working together, and they were a partnership.
And art is powerful. And the pen is mightier than the sword. I get all of that. But that did not bring people together. It was an atrocity.
I think it was the thought that counts. And if you really think about the message, it's called the embrace. Hug somebody, love somebody, embrace somebody. It's what I think they were trying to get at. But it is called the embrace. So we're going to talk a little bit about Seneca Scott, which is a male cousin of Coretta Scott King and also the King family, Dr. King's children. We're going to talk more about that situation coming up later. But first, let me play this clip where you get to see the guy sculpting out the entire thing, where you get to see him putting all of this together, drawing this up, doing his hard hand work, and you guys sit up here and you complain about it and you make memes about it. Now, some of it was funny, I have to admit, because I have a sense of humor, you know, and when something's funny, you gotta laugh. But I did not find it fair that people would not laugh, but also understand the meaning. It was like, I'm laughing at it, I'm making fun of it, and I don't like it. You know, I'm saying they didn't like the sculpture. It wasn't like, I like it, but wait a minute, it's cute and I get it. Okay, nice. But wait, don't that look like a dildo? It was like, it looked like a dildo. It's ugly. It doesn't make sense. What the heck is it? It needs head. It needs a head. It looked like somebody got their head in between their crotch. It was just so many different vulgar jokes about and I don't know, I guess I grew up in a way where like you don't make jokes or laugh or pick at or anything like that to a person like that, high dignitary, especially high dignitary like that, a preacher or something like that. I would have gotten slapped the hell out.
Households, there will be no back talking, and if it is, there will be no teeth in your mouth. This child will be getting a whooping. If he looks at me sideways, I'm gonna beat the hell out of him. No. Yes.
Anyway, the format of the show has not changed much. So with that being said, we have more hot topics coming up, more about Seneca Scott, and we'll be right back. Coming up next is some Aja Walls, Holy Only, which you guys know I love that song, and Precious Lord by B. Slade, and we'll be right back.
Nobody else can love me like you. You're the only one.
This is the Urban Binge Radio.
When no other
From this world.
You are holy, only. Nobody else can be who you are. Stand alone and I stand in awe of your matchless power. You are holy, only, holy, only God. God, you are. Nobody else, nobody else, nobody else. You are holy, holy. Nobody else, nobody else, nobody else. You are holy, holy. Nobody else. Jesus, nobody else. You are holy, holy. Nobody else. Nobody, 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 nobody. You are holy, holy. Nobody else. Nobody else. Nobody else. You are holy, holy. Nobody can do it like you. Nobody can heal like you. Nobody can do the things you do. You are holy, holy. Nobody else. I've not met one body else. I've searched all over, couldn't find nobody, nobody, nobody like you. Nobody else. Nobody else. Nobody else. You are holy, holy God. Holy, only. Oh, yeah. You are holy, holy. Nobody else can love me like you. Ooh, only you. You are holy, holy.
This is the Urban Binge Radio. Thunderflow.
That was Aja Walls. Oh my God, the girl can just blow. I was going to not play anything there, but I found Precious Lord by B. Slade, and I said, you know what? Let me transition from Aja Walls straight into Precious Lord by B. Slade, and I found that to be so beautiful. I could have did it the opposite way, but I didn't. But I really love that Aja Walls, Holy Only. If you don't know what that is, that's on Aja Walls' YouTube channel. You can go check that out. Subscribe to her YouTube channel and make sure you download that song. I don't know how you can get it, but I'm pretty sure a lot of tech freaks out there, you guys know how to download it. I know how to download it. But I'm not going to tell you guys right here live, or I'm not going to tell you guys at all, because I can't do that. I don't want to take away from Aja, but I do for the purpose of my show. So I have to extract the song. So that's what I've done that with Aja and a couple of other songs. Sometimes I may screen record it if it's something really old that I can't copy or take the embedded link and put it somewhere else. Anyway, Precious Lord by B. Slade. That's not even by B. Slade, if I'm not mistaken. I really don't know who it is by. I know that Mahalia Jackson has taken it by storm, and I don't know if she's the original singer of the song. But not only her, Aretha Franklin sung it for Dr. King's funeral and for Mahalia Jackson's funeral. And Aretha sung it for Mahalia Jackson's funeral, and Mahalia Jackson sung it for Dr. King's funeral. Precious Lord, and B. Slade sung it on his album in memorial of the people that had died of COVID. If I'm not mistaken, that's what I believe B. Slade did his song for. B. Slade, if a lot of people don't know this, I know a lot of people do know this, and I say this over and over. B. Slade is the artist formerly known as gospel singer Tone, now known as B. Slade. So Tone is the gospel singer who created the song Make Me Over, God Has Not Forgot, Restoration, many gospel songs that you probably heard growing up. So that's Tone. He's now B. Slade, which is an R&B gospel singer, but he's mostly multifaceted in music because he can do rock, he can do pop, he can do techno, he can do electric, he can do I don't know if I said rock, R&B, gospel. Like, the man is very versatile. In every way. He can do Indian music. Like, it's just crazy. He appeals to the Asians, and also he's a really big deal. A lot of people sleep on him like they do Jasmine Sullivan, or like they were doing Jasmine Sullivan for a long time before everybody jumped on the bandwagon and realized that Jasmine is that girl. Okay, she's not to be played with or to be compared to any mediocre chick out here spitting out lyrics out of their mouth, but not really muscleizing the vocals. Okay, I made up a word, because if you just singing but you ain't working your vocals and moving your muscles and forcing them and taking breaks so that you don't mess them up some more, then I don't know what kind of singing you singing. Okay, a lot of people can scream but they can't sing. You know what I'm saying? You probably can scream, but can you sing? You could probably hit a high note, but can you sing? You could probably hold a tune, but can you sing, and can you stay in key is the question, right?
Okay. Like, good.
Anyway, so yeah, I wanted to finish talking about the statue and the person who created the sculpture and created the statue. So I know before I said I wanted to show you guys, but we end up going to a break. I didn't have time. I apologize. We are timed on the show so we can stay in the loop. We have to make sure we stay on the time frame. So now I want to say, here is the man that created the Dr. King statue.
To be unveiled later this week in Boston, a striking new tribute to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., his wife, Coretta Scott King, and the late civil rights leader's enduring dream. Here's Nancy Childs.
This past summer, workers at the Walla Walla Foundry in the state of Washington fashioned fingers, arms, hands, and a bracelet to capture a shining moment in history. All the pieces are now assembled, and this Friday, one of the largest memorials dedicated to racial equality will be unveiled in America's oldest public park, Boston Common.
I had a vision, frankly.
It's called The Embrace. And to design it, Hank Willis Thomas pored over hundreds of images of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his wife, Coretta Scott King.
There was an intimacy that I saw that wasn't really highlighted often. Often when you do look closely at pictures, they're holding each other's hands.
One photo in particular got the sculptor's attention. The reaction when Reverend King was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964.
I just love that image. Him hugging her with such glee and such joy and such pride. And I saw the pride on her face. And I recognized that this was teamwork. And all of his weight in that picture is like on her.
And so Hank Willis Thomas, along with architects from the Mass Design Group, rather than depicting whole figures, decided to represent a specific moment of intimacy.
I'm kind of scared because representing the kings without their faces is a bold move.
Why did you choose bronze?
Yeah, it's one of the materials that we know can last and stand the test of time.
And Thomas says it was important to represent both husband and wife.
I was not alive when he was alive, so she was the symbol. Her grace, her presence was palpable.
After Dr. King was shot and killed in 1968, it was Coretta Scott King who continued his work.
And I thought that was a pretty powerful metaphor for their legacy, that she put his legacy on her shoulders and carried it for almost half a century.
So multiple people made it, but we've seen how they made it. And I think people should pay attention to the story. Just the like, come on, don't like, come on, look at the story behind it. Don't be so nasty about it. So Dr. King, son Martin Luther King III, and his daughter was there to reveal it, reveal the statues. So I'm not sure why Seneca Scott is not feeling it, but he says it's a $10 million sculpture and it looks like a penis.
Now say what now?
He said. So he's really upset. The mainstream media was reporting on it like it was all beautiful because they were told they had to say that. That's what he's saying. If they didn't say that it was beautiful, then it'll be something that they're saying racist. So if you call them to see why, then they're probably more than willing to say, yeah, we were forced to say it because it's ugly. Yeah, sure, because they're white people. So I don't know why you thought they were telling you the truth when they said that they were forced to say it. I don't know if they were telling you the truth or not, but I think the sculpture means a lot. I think it's beautiful. The point of art is sometimes, not the point, but sometimes with art, a lot of times with art, you can look at it and not understand it. And sometimes it's for you to make your own interpretation of it. Some artists don't care that you're making your own interpretation because that is the point. Sometimes their point is to allow you to make your own interpretation of it. So art is not always beautiful or understood. I promise you, art is not always beautiful or understood, but art is art. And art is just like beauty, and beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Art is in the eye of the beholder. Whoever finds the art beautiful, whoever finds the art touching, inspiring, or that it spoke to them, or that they were able to connect with the art, then that's what happens. That's what happens there. You know, a connection happens, or you end up understanding in your way. People who just don't understand. A lot of times those are people that just don't understand art, period. A lot of times those are hood people, okay? And I'm just telling the truth. Get out of the hood mentality and stop seeing things in such a hood ghetto way. Open and expand your palettes. Open and expand your thoughts. Open and expand your eyes. Don't have hood vision, tunnel vision. Down your tunnel ain't nothing but hood. Bust out of that tunnel and expand your tunnel and see the brighter side of things, okay? Because it's dark, baby. You looking in a dark tunnel.
I'm in the Hollywood Hills, but I still know how to get hood.
Anyway, the people aren't feeling it. Seneca isn't feeling it. He said the $10 million could have went somewhere the hell else and not to this giant penis sitting right here. I feel so bad. Bernice King has not come out to say anything. I would love to hear what Bernice King comes out to say. Of course, that's my mentor, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. My relationship with Bernice King. I wanted her on the show today, but I did not, hear back from her. Of course, it's over the King holiday. I contacted her last minute Like, I don't know what I was thinking. I just don't know what I was thinking. I know when I record these episodes and how far apart they are to edit and da-da-da-da-da-da. I didn't realize, let me get Bernice King 2 months ago. I should have thought about that like a month or two ago. And I'm just now thinking about it the week before her father's birthday, the week before his 94th birthday, Dr. King. How did I think she was going to be able to respond to me? I don't know. She hasn't gotten back to me yet. All I see is her busy. My brother is security at the Hyatt in Atlanta. And he actually just seen her coming out of her room. And she said she'll get back to me, but I haven't heard from anybody yet. So I'm waiting on her assistant or her to contact me back, but it's fine. I'm patient and I know how busy my mentor is. She's very, very busy. And so her life is like, she's Dr. King's daughter. What do you expect? Anyway, coming up next, we have more music. We got some B Slade coming up. I Found Love. Alec Walls, Look Up, I Need Your Help. Sounds of Blackness, Optimistic, and more. Let's get into some more music. This is Sunday Flow Show. This is the Sunday Flow right here on the Urban Binge Radio. Thanks for tuning in. Don't go away. Let's go.
You're listening to the Urban Binge Radio. Sunday Flow.
What happened is that some of our philosophers got off base. And one of the great problems of history is that the concepts of love and power have usually been contrasted as opposites, polar opposites. So that love is identified with a resignation of power and power with a denial of love. It was this misinterpretation that caused the philosopher Nietzsche, who is the philosopher of the will to power, to reject the Christian concept of love. It was the same misinterpretation which induced Christian theologians to reject Nietzsche's philosophy of the will to power in the name of the Christian idea of love. Now we got to get this thing right. What is needed is a realization that power without love is reckless and abusive, and that love without power is sentimental and anemic. Power at its best. Power at its best is love, implementing the demands of justice, and justice at its best is love correcting everything that stands against love.
Blast off. Push me up with my headphones in.
There was a time when I felt like my life was worthless. So many ups and downs, I told myself it's pointless. Just when I thought I had enough, right at the point of giving up, you took the pain all away. The moment that you came and touched me, love I don't deserve. Love worth more than anything I found in this world. In this world, I found love. Love I don't deserve. Love worth more than anything I found in this world. Day after day, month after month, I search for meaning. Running around in circles trying to find the truth. So many lies, so much deceit. You said to trust me and believe. I found the answer. Prayer is the key. Oh, I found the answer. I don't deserve. Love worth more than anything I found in this world.
I like this.
I found love. I found love. I don't deserve. I don't deserve. More than anything I found in this world. And it feels so good inside. I found love, y'all. I don't deserve. Yes, I did. More than anything I found in this world. And I'm glad about it. I found love. Yeah. Love I don't deserve. I don't deserve it. More than anything I found
the Urban Binge Radio podcast,
where we discuss viral topics, hot jams, new artists, fun, and informative interviews and conversations. This is your news stop for the hottest trend in urban culture news. 2 shows, 1 podcast, The Urban Binge Show and Sunday Flow Show, powered by The Urban Binge.
The Urban Binge Radio podcast. Listen anywhere podcast can be heard.
Haters like, am I going to hell for the things that I could wear? I ain't gonna hide my blessings when I